Today's reading is Matthew 12 and Psalms 136. Psalm 136, expressing an attitude of gratitude for all creation. Matthew 12 is really packed. I highly recommend you read the whole passage. For the sake of time, I'm going to focus on the Sabbath rest in the first 14 verses of Matthew 12. Let me begin by reading from Exodus 20, verses 1 and 2, and verses 9 and 10. Then God gave the people all these instructions. I am the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons, your daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living among you. In essence, God invented the 7-day week, 6 days of honest work, and the seventh as a Sabbath day of rest. Obviously, this was designed for our benefit. So we do need to be realistic, not legalistic as the Pharisees were doing in Matthew 12. God knows your heart. God's commandments are meant to facilitate a heart change. As individuals, if we obey the fourth commandment, the practice will be life-changing. If enough of us take it seriously, it's bound to be world-changing as well. A great example of this principle in practice is a book called The Year of Living Biblically. In this book, the author A.J. Jacobs, who claims no personal faith in any deity, illustrates the obvious point that humans live more fulfilled lives when we obey God's laws. Therefore, the Sabbath was created for us. Dennis Prager explains what happens if we observe the Sabbath in his PragerU video series, The 10 Commandments, in 5 main points. I'd like you to watch the whole thing sometime, so I'll focus on his first 2 points for now to whet your appetite. First of all, instituting the fourth commandment elevated the human being from merely beasts of burden, working all day, all the time, day in and day out, virtually the same as any other, with no special or sacred time. The fourth commandment encouraged a personal relationship between God and mankind, unlike anything else in creation. Secondly, the fourth commandment serves to remind humans they are special in God's sight and meant to be free. In Exodus, God reminds his chosen people of their brutal slavery in Egypt. Slaves can't have a Sabbath. Likewise, those who work 7 days a week are slaves to work, success, or money. Prager said, "A millionaire who works 7 days a week is nothing more than a rich slave." Prager concludes with this, and I agree. These principles are available to anyone, Jew or Christian or none. What I want you to remember from today's message is this: faith in God naturally brings people to the Sabbath. Observing the Sabbath brings people to a deeper, richer faith in God. If we would simply take God at his word and trust him enough to set aside 1 day a week as holy, we'll find our lives transformed. Every time you keep the Sabbath, you are affirming there is a Creator who loves us and wants the best for us. It didn't just happen. Life isn't some meaningless coincidence. Life is infinitely meaningful. Therefore, each of us has a unique significance and purpose. No wonder, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy is included in the 10 Commandments. Those who observe it have richer family lives, more serenity, a community of friends, and are healthier physically. Let's begin now preparing our hearts to make this coming Sabbath special.